The use of blue is very good. Blue is one of my favorite colors, just because it is objectively one of the best colors. And it's used to its fullness here for sure. There we go. Now we can get things moving. Now what's going to be waiting for us on the other side? Will it be a bigger area? A little enclave? It's alive. Alright, let's start heading that way. Won't delay, I'm a man on a mission. So when we do that, when we go to the little Mount Olympus area, and we bring life to those areas, is it just contained to those areas, or is the idea that we're bringing back life to ecosystems in general? My tastes lead me to... Whoa! Archelon. And Morgar. Yeah, come here. It is Archelon. Not actually a sea turtle in any sense. Like, it's not related to any of the modern sea turtles. It's actually doing its own thing. I think the way you can tell the difference is the shell is not one whole thing, right? It has gaps in it, because it would almost have to be once it gets this big, whereas sea turtles today, the shell is just a single solid plate of bone. Wow, I thought the leatherbacks were big, but this is on another level. I guess it was the era of marine reptiles. I think this was voted the deadliest sea in Walking with Sea Monsters during the Cretaceous. You had mosasaurs. Oh, and Arapaima. Very cool. Arowanas. Bony tongue fish here. They are also ancient fish. They're air breathers, interestingly enough. I believe the Arapaimas are actually obligate air breathers. Actually, gar are air breathers too. So, a lot of air breathers hanging out here. Coelacanth. This is a deep water version. But I think the Triassic, or maybe before that, was the Triassic may have been the peak of lungfish diversity, and the peak of coelacanth diversity may have been just before that. Oh, wait a minute, that is interesting. Did we never head for the surface? Are we still, like, really deep down? Because if we are, that begs the question, like, is the whole, like, city we saw pressurized? When did we go up? I mean, we probably did, I just don't remember, but... Or it might be an inconsistency. Because, yeah, that would imply, like, this whole thing is sealed off and pressurized, which would be crazy. Hello. Yes, I would like to get out, please. Thank you very much. There we go. Wow, look at the view from here. Everything's all foggy. You know, I have a recurring vision of an environment like this, right? I've had a recurring dream where I am staring down an enormous cliff face, but like underwater, certainly a lot taller than this, and I see luminous lights below a great underwater city, like Yala Nithle, where the deep ones live. Are we supposed to jump? You want me to commit suicide? Is that it? I guess one of the advantages of being a robot is that the energy is all condensed into one source, for better or for worse, right? Humans, animals, biological organisms. Oh shit, don't break your neck. Wee. Oh, so this is a different area. Ophthalmosaurus, perhaps? Just says ichthyosaurs. I guess that makes sense. Ophthalmosaurus would be larger. Very large eyes. I think these guys are also the contenders for one of the largest eyes. They're always depicted as dolphin-like, but I wonder how much their behavior actually did converge with dolphins. Maybe quite a bit. They were certainly the most fusiform of the marine reptiles during that time, certainly the ones most adapted to life in the sea. Oh, an Elasmosaurus. Whoa. 2 of them. Amazing. These guys don't get used very much. Nice. These guys don't get used very much. They're usually just associated with the Loch Ness Monster and stuff, but they can be very graceful. Not fighters, though. Couldn't really fight anything. Kind of like the Spinosaurs of the sea, I suppose. Very interesting body, very interesting proportions. Okay, so we need to restore the flow of water. We have some kind of ability to give life. To give our essence and to spawn life. Now maybe it's just magic, but I'm kind of curious. Oh, is that an Oopa? I think it might be an Oopa. I have foreshadowed it. I spoke about the Oopa. Maybe it's just magic, but I wonder if there's some either scientific or metaphorical explanation. Maybe because we're artificial, we're robotic, maybe we're kind of like an AI, or the depository of information that we hold is much larger than a human could hold. And so maybe we have the genetic code of these extinct organisms. We know how to recreate them so that we can give birth, we can give life to dead environments, right? We can just spawn life because we know how to construct it. Here we go. Someone's late to the party. Interestingly, they are pretty stout here, so probably actually not that dissimilar to the proportions from the paper. Interesting. I don't know if the bony plates would have been visible to that extent, though. It seems like it would have been a far more normal-looking fish. I think those were the only two we had to activate here. I'm going to look to see if there's any more spawning grounds. Okay, we triggered something. I still don't get the water within water. It makes me feel like this world is fake or something. If you had a brine pool, could you in theory get it to form a waterfall? I'm inclined to think maybe it would be possible, but it would require highly specific circumstances. This is a pretty extended sequence. I'm not complaining, though. I kind of like it when the final set piece takes a bit longer than the previous set pieces. Narratively, I mean, in movies or whatever. I think we may have seen everything here already. Oh no, we haven't. What the fuck is a Geosaurus? Is that like maybe a different group of marine reptiles, a lesser known one? Maybe from Walking with Sea Monsters. I think I remember something similar to that, like Dacosaurus. Maybe one of those. I'm actually not familiar with this one. Bravo, you got me, game. Actually, it's got me a few times. Looks like they'd be pretty cute. Kind of like a more aquatic crocodile, essentially. You know, crocodiles don't get enough credit. Today we recognize them as like living fossils, right? Evolutionarily unchanged. But the reality is crocodiles have been experimenting wildly since they've been around. And it's just now that they're going through kind of they're being conservative right now, I guess. But in the time of the dinosaurs, right, they tried to do things like Postosuchus. They tried to go underwater with more aquatic built forms like these. And then even after the Mesozoic and the Cenozoic, after the KPG, there's my guy. Probably would have been a lot like a tuna, I think they're saying now. Stout, fast fish. Designed for open water. I think before the Devonian, the open ocean was not really a valid biome. Life was mostly just concentrated around the coast. You didn't have species capable of traversing the open oceans like that. But yeah, even in the Cenozoic, they were still trying for more mobile forms, with the legs positioned directly below the body, things like that. So crocodiles need to get, or crocodilians, I guess, not crocodiles, but the whole crocodilomorpha, they need to get more credit for their innovation. Because they're trying, damn it. Especially when the Cenozoic, when the mammals took over. Birds and crocodilians, they were trying. They were trying to take back what the dinosaurs left, but ultimately they lost out to the mammals, although it was a valiant attempt. Haha, that Anomalocaris just ate an Oopa. I think it would probably be the other way around, most likely. But it's funny. Not a big fan of the Anomalocaris model, actually. Seems a bit too simple, a bit too cartoony, and I don't like the movements. It's too dynamic. It doesn't really capture the kind of subtlety, control, the more primitive movements that an animal that simple would be doing. And in a sense, you kind of lose a lot of the mystique if you make it just like a modern-day fighter. This game is kind of oxymoronic in that sense, right? You have all this beauty that could not possibly have been just something that was abandoned for forever. And yet there's nobody here. It's very liminal. It's very abandoned. Obviously, that's pornographic in a sense, too, right? Like, imagine things like the Taj Mahal and things like that, right? These very beautiful things, but they're filled with people all the time, right? But imagine the sheer discontinuous beauty. If you had, whoa, what are these guys? There's some kind of benthic ammonite with the paperclip. I didn't think these guys were benthic. Maybe they're not. Oh, and we've got trilobites here. Cool, but yeah, let's wake up these guys in here. What are we gonna get? So this is Docosaurus, yeah. Maybe related to the Geosaurus. I'll have to look that up when I'm done with this. But now that everyone's awake and feeling good, I think it's time to carry on. Come here. Nice, we're riding a Docosaurus. Ooh, fierce little guy. So I guess it's not all wonder and mystique, right? They are eating each other, so they are legitimate animals. It's the circle of life. But again, can't shake the feeling that it all seems very artificial. It all seems like an exaggeration of what would actually be there. The behaviors aren't quite right. The assemblage of beauty is higher than we could expect in a normal situations. So something's going on. It's fun to speculate. This texture makes the Dunkleosteus look a lot more archaic than it probably would have looked in reality. In reality, it probably would have had a lot of overlap with, Don't turn away. There were little dolphin-like noises from the Ichthyosaurs. I don't know if they would be vocalizing like that. I don't know if they had echolocation. I would assume not, but who knows. What the hell did we just do? We've opened something. Is that where we gotta go? We're swimming past some Arapaimas. I don't know if an Arapaima would be comfortable that far deep, because they'd have to keep coming back up to get air. There's our civilization, whatever it is. If we are indeed robots that came after humanity, I find it interesting that somehow they just like went back and decided to go back to stoneworking and everything like that, and then develop technology, which seems to be the case. So we're going through more of the Forbidden City. Amazing. Does remind me kind of Sinbad, and again, I haven't, that movie is not like ingrained into my head or anything, but I guess just the visual similarities are so striking that my brain is forced to dig up the comparison. Those birds remind me of the birds in Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, the kind before people could really modify the shit out of the game, when people had to get more creative and they had more limitations. People tried to make pterosaurs of the birds. It didn't work too well, but it was funny nevertheless. I don't like how it's like snapping me to certain axes. Obviously it's because the map isn't all finished, but like, let me explore, damn it. Alright, it wants us to jump in here. This looks like more of a channel. Let's hit it. Another current section? Yeah. I don't know how they'd get a current to flow through here unless it was artificially generated, and even then it would cost a shit ton of energy. Come on, Oopas, follow me. Okay, so the Ichthyosaurs have accompanied us, so they have the dollies. Tiktaaliks are here too. They're swimming way more vigorously. This would have been a slow-moving swamp species. Again, things are not as they seem here. And through the kelp forest. Where does it want us to go? What are we doing here? Where are we going? Whoa. This seems almost like a dream. I've had ideas for stories like this, where the sheer scope of architecture, the sheer scale of things coupled with the lack of attention far exceeds anything that could exist in... Whoa, it's a labyrinth. Minoan. I wonder if that was a architectural inspiration for this game. Yay, the Acanthidae have joined us. Was that the same ichthyosaur? It looked like maybe a different species of ichthyosaur. But we are going through the Forbidden City. It almost reminds me of the Olmec map or things like that from depth. I never was very good at depth. Oh, we're here. We're at the Mount Olympus looking area. But it's finally realized, it's finally brought to life. Interesting. Who's schooling there? Please tell me it's the Acanthidae. That would be awesome. Who are these guys? I can't identify them. What is that? Hold still, assholes. Are they arowanas? Yeah, they're arowanas. What are they doing schooling together like that? The behavior of these species is completely altered. And arowanas would never do that. Something very strange is going on around here, I tell you. Arowanas are not a schooling fish. They live in fresh water. If you put them in an environment this huge, and you put a bunch of them here, they would be very much removed from their natural behaviors. I guess it matters if what's on the inside or on the outside truly matters. I think what's on the outside. Although I don't mean that in a superficial way, although it sounds like it. Kind of like Mishima versus Plato, you know, I tend to agree with Mishima. Not to say that there's no value in the other things. In the internal things, the mimetic things. But I think ultimately the physical manifestation of things is the superior. People think the mental sphere is more pure, more true, but I don't think so. So yeah, apparently we just have super strength. So I guess we're pretty advanced. So maybe my idea about knowing the genetic material of these organisms is not so far-fetched. Somehow just being able to birth them, to spawn them. Some kind of maelstrom there at the bottom. Have you guys read the horror story, Maelstrom? I believe it's just called Maelstrom by Edgar Allan Poe. That was a pretty good one. A lot of Edgar Allan Poe actually doesn't pique my interest that much. Certainly a lot less than Lovecraft and things like that, maybe because it's less cosmic, it's less otherworldly. Deals less with biology or biology-adjacent subjects. But there's a few good ones in there. I mean, I'm sure they're all good, but there's a few ones that I've liked that have been interesting to me. Oh, we're back. So, we've done whale sharks, we've done orcas. We've done manta rays. And we've done giant squids. Seems there's something waiting for us in the center. I wonder if I should make these videos a lot shorter. Really? Again? I thought we would get something this time. Haven't you taken enough? Whoa. Alright, fair trade. We got our buddy back. See, I was right. If we can bring back the dead, surely we can bring him back. Oh, he's glowing. He looks like a ghost. Oh, we're being restored. Is whatever machine is here restoring us? Or is the great white shark returning the favor? That's been there since the beginning. I think the opening cutscene was like that, through the hydrothermal vents. Now here we are. This almost looks like a womb. Looks very heavenly. Whoa. Haven't seen this before. Wow. Hey, come here. He's still glowing, so I think maybe he is still actually dead. I'm gonna try to see what all is here, if there's anything new. Yeah, these guys are mostly stuff we've seen before. Let's carry on through this little valley. A lot of these environments seem to be based off of just imitating. Oh, now we have the power. The jacks are following us. We are screwing these machines up pretty bad. I thought that was gunfire at first, but it's just the jacks breaching. Jaws Unleashed flashbacks. Yeah, these are definitely quantum machines of some kind. Otherwise we'd be too small. Although I guess now we're dead. But even before that, right, he had some success against the machine. Wow, we've had a restoration like never before. Maybe it's a time accelerator, you know? life does spawn if you wait long enough, right? Like, you think in fictional stories, usually in low-quality fictional stories for children, like Sonic or Dragon Ball Z, you'll sometimes have entities just, like, spawn, you know? Oh, he doesn't want to go that way. He doesn't want to follow. Wow, the manta rays are huge. Why the fuck are there why the hell are there just trees underwater? Like, I don't know about that. That seems a little cheap. It's kind of like you can't do the underwater environment justice, so you have to just steal things from the terrestrial environment, right? A little bit lazy. Through another little channel here. And there's a current carrying us through again. And there's another instrument for us to destroy. It's guiding us right into it. Needs very little help from us. Needs very little input. It wants to do this. Obviously, you could read into this just like a simple anti-tech message. Anti-industrialization. Anti-destruction of the environment. But I think there's more to it than that. There's more to grab. Orcas, our mortal enemy. Come on, fuck them up. You're big enough. I know you can do this. I believe in you. You can take them all out. Alright, come on, orcas. Time to get fucked. Well, we're still just about the same size as them. Yeah, I could take these guys easily. I feel like a great white shark is winning that fight if it's one-on-one and the sizes are equal. This almost looks like some, like, sweet shop or something, you know, advertising diabetes. The pink and baby blue hues, they remind me of that. Remind me of Neo Hedora, too. Okay, and we have some, like, pseudo-religious songs going on here. Which is interesting, because usually that kind of movement, that kind of belief... Oh, a sailfish. Is atheistic in nature. Well, maybe not necessarily. Who's that? Great Hammerhead? Yeah, I think so. Would have to be, because they're pretty big. Bigger than any hammerhead we've seen previously, certainly. Okay. We did it. I'm not sure what we did. Oh, the whale sharks are coming back again. The orcas are coming back. And I'm thinking we're pretty much nearing the end of the game. But there may be still some set pieces left. I love this cave environment, even if it doesn't necessarily correspond to something real. That was a Nomalocaris, I think. So it seems like there's one of these structures everywhere, and it seems like we're going to have to jump up to get there. But controlling every biome has kind of been under the influence of one of these structures. Which I'm surprised by, because they've still been pretty vivid, all things considered. I guess now they're even more so. Oh, we just have to hit the chain. Okay. Who are we going to get this time? Giant squid? Yep, there they are. Now it's really reminding me of Jaws Unleashed. This would seem like an easier fight than the colossal squid that Jaws had to fight. And yes, in that game it was actually Jaws, it wasn't Bruce. For the only time, as far as I'm aware. I think this school's been with us the whole time. Little buddies, made of Jax, Tangs, Antheus. This kind of looks pretty like endgame tier. But the staging is just incredible, how everything looks so large. Oh shit. Can blue whales really breach like that? I think maybe that's a slight exaggeration, but holy shit. The blue whales were an awesome part. Passing through it the first time. And now we see them again. They are immense. And true to Jaws Unleashed, we can't get to them. What are those? Are those dolphins behind us? Yeah, the common dolphins are back too. Like by the grassy plateau looking biome. Oh, we can charge forward. Are you coming with? Seems he's not going to follow. Alright, it appears here we say our farewell. Actually, we're glowing too. Are we dead as well? Or on borrowed time? Or have we just become deified? Can we not... Is this not where it wants us to go? I don't get it. What do you want me to do? I'm confused. Mesmerized, but very confused. Oh, okay, now we can ride it, apparently. Blue whale. Can you help us fuck up the megastructure? I think a blue whale might actually be able to do it. Whoa. Amazing. We are piloting the blue whale. Don't know what we're supposed to do. Can we go through it now? Oh, okay, now it lets us. It just wanted us to ride the blue whale. Fish smartly not following us. But now we're back through here. But now we have the power. I don't know what the fuck happened. Or how we got it. But we're not just a little robot. We always had more strength, more abilities than it appeared. Alright, bullseye. That's it. Have we ended it? Maybe the older world, the old architecture of the Minoans, maybe that gave us the power. And we're picking up speed. And out we go. Interesting that it doesn't get destroyed. It kind of serves as a seeding ground for the kelp forest. Is that all? What more do we have to do? Looks like that's it. Oh, we can actually move around during the credits. That's interesting. Oh! So we're not glowing anymore, neither is the great white shark, so I assume this means we've lost our powers. But it also means that the great white wasn't dead. We did genuinely bring him back. Very cool game overall. I might be repeating myself here, but I liked it a lot. Aesthetically, it is unmatched. I like especially how there was no HUD, how the use of empty space was done very well to create the sense of these huge structures, you know, just meaning through the structures, colossal aspects, just getting the sense of size for the whole thing, again, a sense that you're really doing something important, you're bearing witness to something that is really sublime. That was all done very well. I like the sequence of set pieces. I believe there were 4 before we got to the extinct creatures. I like how it kept kind of ramping up. It kind of showed what the ocean was all about. I do have some slight critiques of the character, of the behavior of the animals, and some questions about the narrative. David Attenborough. The hell is he doing here? I didn't hear any narration. But yeah, very cool. It would be interesting to see a different sort of game still attempt this aesthetic, right? Maybe something more action-based, but still using space and using size and using liminality in the same aspect. But yeah, questions remain on the narrative. I kind of hesitate to just see this as a straightforward man versus nature sort of deal. Or technology versus nature, whatever you have. But overall, very good. Lots of food for thought. Lots of creative inspiration. It's inspiring me right now, right, to go further. How can I take this idea further? What does this idea really mean? Are there parts of this idea that I can export and grow and use for my own things? Stuff like that. This game does seem to have magical elements. Me and fantasy generally don't mesh well, but it's there for sure. I try to prefer to find a more scientific explanation, or not necessarily a scientific explanation, but like a metaphorical explanation besides there's, oh, you know, it was just magic, you know? Unreal. That's kind of surprising. I might have guessed Unity. Actually, I don't know. I don't give a fuck. A giant squid production. No, the great white shark is here. Oh, we're still there. We're just at the surface. Yeah, it's kind of like the credit scene in Jaws, right, where you can still see Chief and Hooper slowly paddling their way back to shore. I always liked that detail. I don't know what the start button is. Escape? Okay. But yeah, that was ABZU, guys. Probably going to take a bit of a break from gameplays for a little bit, just because nothing's really piquing my interest. I will get the Neo Filthy Frank content going, and then I might play Call of Cthulhu Dark Corners of the Earth. That's a good one. In my opinion, I feel as though it's an underrated game. Unfairly maligned in a lot of respects, but that might be interesting. Talk about Lovecraft. Or Echo the Dolphin, with the idea being to play the entire trilogy. I've played the first one. That was brutal. I heard the first one is the worst in terms of difficulty, and then obviously it had the Ties of Time, and it had the version that was for the Wii or something. So that's also a possibility. But yeah, we'll see. Other than that, I think we're going to take a little break for now, but hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. And I'll see you next time, whenever that is.